Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave,
And I'm Dirk.
and today we're going to start our Rise of the Red Skull wave of hero reviews. So this is one of the two heroes that came in the box. So this is Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is all about arrows for some reason.
I thought he was about the card. Look at that card.
Well,
That's a beautiful card.
Yep. And he was very disappointed when it got wrecked.
Yes.
In his show.
I would be too.
All right, and we got a promo card from a content creator at Hawkeye Hero, so that's pretty fun. Let's take a look at what Hawkeye can do.
So the Clint Barton, so on his alter ego side, Clint Barton is a shield. He has 6 hit point, or a hand size of 6, 9 hit points.
Say 6 hit points is not that weak, even though he's wounded right
and
now.
then a recovery of 3. And as an action weapon of choice, you can spend a resource of any type to search your deck and discard pile for Hawkeye's bow and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. You can do it this once per phase.
Yeah, so this is kind of the reverse from Thor, because the bow actually is free. You spend the resource to grab the bow that's free, where with Thor you find Mjolnir and then you pay, then you pay 1 to put it in.
Yeah, so with Thor, I prefer to actually mill Mjolnir. With Hawkeye, I would rather not mill his bow. If I get it in my opening hand, I want to keep it.
Yeah, because it'll save you a resource.
Save you a resource.
Yeah, obviously. All right. Then on the hero side, we got Hawkeye. He is a 1/2/1, 5 hand size. He's an Avenger. Quick draw. Exhaust Hawkeye to ready Hawkeye's bow. And we're going to go into what the bow does.
So now, one of the important things to note here is he is shield in alter ego, and he is Avenger in hero form.
Which
so we can take advantage of that.
Yeah, which a lot of the starting heroes were like that, and the new Winter Soldier pack actually adds a lot more to that.
Yeah, but those early heroes, whenever they first came out, we didn't have the ways to take advantage of it that we do now.
Yeah, I'd say the Winter Soldier definitely helped those shield / Avenger heroes. All right,
so the first card we've got here then is Hawkeye's bow. This is the one you get to go and get, but it's a 0-cost upgrade. It is a weapon. It is restricted, so he is limited to 2 restricted cards, but this is the only one that comes with his kit. So you can add 1 more from outside of his kit without needing additional card support. But while he's got the bow, he gets +1 attack, and each of his arrow attacks gains ranged.
Right. So now the important thing, there's 2 important bits with this. So he starts with a 2 attack. So the bow makes him a 3 attack. So if you don't have any arrows, and you're doing a basic attack, you've got a basic attack of 3 now, which is really good.
Apparently he's smacking people with the bow.
Yeah. Well, it's titanium or vibranium or something, or adamantium. I don't know, but it's something strong.
No, it's not adamantium.
It's vibranium, probably. So we got some cards that help beef up his attack that we'll go into, and then the bow, all his arrows, which you'll see how that mechanic works here in a second, but they gain range, so you can ignore retaliate. So the bow is really critical, and you can't fire any arrows without the bow.
That's the most important part.
You'll
see every one of the arrows requires the bow. You can't just throw an arrow at somebody and expect that to work.
Hulk could. Hawkeye's quiver here. So this is another critical card in his deck. It's a well, I guess I got this out of order. Oh well. So Hawkeye's quiver. This is a critical card. It's a 1-cost upgrade. It's an item.
No, bow's number 1 if they're in the right order.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. You may play an arrow event attached to here as if it was in your hand. Then you exhaust Hawkeye's quiver, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an arrow event, and attach it face up to this card. And then this is where they came up with the rule that every time you search your deck, you have to shuffle now. So back when this first came out, people were like combining it with like the Hulk ally, going, oh, well, I know what my next card, my next 4 cards are on top of my deck. And it's like, no, they clarified it at this point where they said, okay, whenever you search your deck, you have to shuffle afterwards.
So important things to note about this though is it does not limit you to how many arrows you can have in here. Now you do have 8 arrows, and you're probably not going to build them up too much. But since they all do actually have slightly different functions, you might actually get 3 or 4 of them sitting on here at any given time.
And you can only put 1. You can only add 1 a turn, but So if you draw 4 arrows, you only get to put one of them on the.
Actually, technically, if you have a way to ready this, you could have more than one.
Well,
You do have to be able to ready this, though.
but there's no way to ready it, to my knowledge. All right, here's another critical card in his deck.
So Mockingbird. Mockingbird is a 3-cost ally. She thwarts for 2, attacks for 2. She has 3 hit points. She is an Avenger Shield ally. And as an interrupt event, whenever the villain initiates an attack against you, you can spend 1 resource of any type, return her to your hand, and prevent all damage from that attack. Which that's really nice because Hawkeye does only actually have 9 hit points.
Right. And yeah, you discard a card and you basically get to replace it with Mockingbird. And there's cards later on where you're going to see some fun ways to get her back out again. So, all right. But now we get into the arrows.
So we've got 2 copies, I think, of each of these arrows.
I believe so.
The first one here is Sonic Arrow. So it's a 2-cost event. It's an arrow attack. You can exhaust the bow, confuse an enemy, and deal 3 damage to it. 5 damage instead if it's already confused. And you're going to see similar stuff like that on a couple of these.
Okay. Then we got an AoE here. 1-cost event explosive arrow. Exhaust Hawkeye's bow and choose a player. Deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engage with that player. This is really good, like against Ultron or something, where you could take out a lot of drones, or someone is way overwhelmed, and it's a great way to fill up Hall of Heroes too.
Yep. Oh yeah. We've got 2 copies here then of Electric Arrow. So Electric Arrow is a 2-cost attack event. You exhaust the bow for this one, stun an enemy, deal 3 damage to it, 5 instead if the enemy's already stunned.
All right. Then we got 2 copies of Cable Arrow. So this is a thwart event that he's got. Hero action thwart, exhaust Hawkeye's bow, remove 3 threat from a scheme, and you get to ignore the crisis icon.
And what I love about this is Cable Arrow, and the Cable character also loves to thwart. So see, I thought that was cool.
That's why he named it after Cable.
Yep, exactly. That's what that's what I'm talking about. Oh, he's got 10 arrows. So he's got 2 copies of Vibranium Arrow, which is a 2-cost attack event. You exhaust the bow, you deal 6 damage to an enemy, and the attack gains piercing.
Yeah, that's my favorite arrow of his.
Oh yeah, great one.
All right. Then we got 2 copies of Expert Marksman. It's a 1-cost upgrade. It's a resource card. Exhaust Expert Marksman to generate a wild resource for an arrow event. So it's a nice way to pay for the arrows.
And all of his arrows cost either 1 or 2.
And you get 2 copies of that.
You have 2 copies of it, so you can pay for any arrow shot with those. All right, and then his obligation here is Criminal Past. So you give this to Clint. He can choose to flip to Alter Ego and then choose to either exhaust Clint and remove this card from the game, or discard the bow from play and discard this obligation. So this is kind of still the original old school obligations.
All right, then we got Crossfire. This is his nemesis. 1 scheme, 2 attack, 4 hit points. He's a mercenary. He's got Quick Strike, and Crossfire's attacks gain piercing. And if it's a boost, if this boost resolves during an attack, the attack gains piercing.
Yep. All right, then we've got Marked for Death. So this is a side scheme, his Nemesis side scheme. It comes in with 5 threat on it. But when revealed, Clint searches their hand, deck, discard pile, and player area for Mockingbird, puts her underneath here, and then when this stage is defeated, you can return Mockingbird, or when this stage is defeated.
When the scheme is,
it should say when the scheme. When the scheme's defeated, you return Mockingbird to your owner's hand. And it does come in with an acceleration token on it. But I don't think I've ever noticed that typo on that before.
And 5.
Yeah, I said that. 5 threat.
All right, then we got Crossfire's Rifle. It's a 2-cost, +2 attack.
I wanted to say crossbow, and I know better.
Attached to Crossfire, otherwise attached to the villain. When the attached enemy attacks, the attacks gain range. As a hero action, you can exhaust your hero and spend a wild resource to discard Crossfire's Rifle.
All right, and then we've got 2 copies of Sniper Shot, which is a treachery. When revealed, if you're in Alter Ego, you place 3 threat on the main scheme, and if you're in hero form, you deal 3 damage to your hero.
All right, and then we thought of some cards that we think are good for.
We actually turned up with a lot more than we thought.
I thought there could be a lot fewer. But he is an Avenger, so we actually have a separate video that go over Avenger cards. So that would be the Avenger allies, Avenger
Yeah, either cards that are keyworded Avenger or require an Avenger to play.
Yeah, so please see that video if you want to know all the fun things that Avengers can do. Some of those cards might show up here because we think they got
very specifically
for
have a use.
Hawkeye. Yeah. All right. So one of the things that's critical is
the critical hit.
Yes, but so for aggression, but his arrows, they do more damage if you target an enemy that's already stunned or confused, depending on the. So this card is one that can stun, so that's why it's included here. This is critical hit, 2-cost event. Play only if there's a side scheme in the victory display, and after you attack an enemy, stun it.
So just play a game with B. There'll be a side scheme in the victory display.
Sure.
I don't think I've played a deck without a side scheme in a while.
Yeah, but this is after any attack. So like, you do anything, and then you can turn around and stun it. So then the electric arrow will be more powerful, basically.
Yeah, so it's great. You can use your basic attack and then the critical hit. For basic attack with the critical hit and then the electric arrow. Yeah. All right, then you've got drop kick. So this is a 3-cost event. It's an attack event. You deal 4 damage to an enemy, and if you paid for it using only strength resources, you get to stun that enemy and draw a card. So again, it's another way to stun the enemy to increase the damage with the arrows. And you get card draw.
Right, then we got Spider Girl here. So she's a 2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 hit points, an Avenger. After you play Spider Girl from your hand, stun and confuse a minion. So this is another great way to, stun or confuse a minion, and then you'll be able to use your appropriate arrow to
and I love the
do
fact
5 damage instead of 3.
Yeah, and I love the fact that there's other characters that do some of this, but she's, I think, the only one that does both. So that's really cool. So then she's probably my favorite of the minions in that vein.
All right.
Or allies in that vein.
Then we got a couple cards that, ideally you want to be able to fire 2 arrows a turn, but sometimes you're not going to have an arrow. So there's some other options.
So this one's Firepower. So Firepower is a 1-cost attack event. As a hero action, you can exhaust up to 3 weapon upgrades you control. And for each upgrade exhausted this way, you can choose an enemy and deal 3 damage to it, and the attack gains range. So the great thing is, if you didn't have any arrows this turn, so your bow is sitting there, you can exhaust your bow for this. Unless if you've already used it for an arrow, you can't. But in this case, you can exhaust the bow to use it, and we've got some other ways that you can help actually increase that as well.
Okay.
Here we've got Fuselage. So Fuselage is a 2-cost attack event. You can exhaust a weapon. Again, the bow works for this if you're not using it already, to deal 5 damage to an enemy.
Okay. Then we got Mean Swing. So now the bow also gives you +1 attack. So that gives you a base 3 attack. So again, you could exhaust the bow when you just want to make a basic attack. And you're going to get another +3 to the attack.
Yeah, so there's a total of 6 off of a basic attack if you don't have any arrows to use. We've also got Press the Advantage here. So this is a 1-cost attack event. You deal 2 damage to the enemy. If the enemy was stunned or confused, you get to draw a card. So this way is if either one of these other cards that you play stuns or confuses, or you're using one of the arrows first that stuns or confuses, then you can take advantage of that here.
Okay. And then Skilled Strike. This is another way just to increase the amount of damage you're doing with your basic attack. When a hero makes a basic attack, it gains +2 to the attack for that attack.
All right. Then we've got Smash the Problem. So this is a 1-cost thwart event, which you don't see a lot of those in aggression. But you can exhaust your hero or remove threat from the scheme equal to your hero's attack. And remember, once you've got the bow out, you've got a 3 minimum.
Right.
And if you're playing aggression, you probably actually got a...
there might be another card to beef.
Yeah, you probably got another card to beef that up to at least 4.
But also, he also has a 1 thwart. So this is a way more efficient way for him to thwart. I mean,
without having to use assault.
Or a cable arrow. All right. Then this is the best defense, which... Actually, Mockingbird is the best defense for him. But there's a hero interrupt defense. When your hero defends against an attack, use its attack instead of the defense for this attack. So this is nice. If you don't have Mockingbird available, you can defend for 3 because with the bow instead of 1.
Yep. All right. Now, back to what we were talking about earlier, to where you can use cards. Where is that? This firepower. Yes, you can use the bow, but you can also do cards like Bambino. So Bambino is attached to a shield character. So now we know that Mockingbird here, so she is shield. But the other thing that's of note, let me go ahead and grab it. We'll just do it now.
Grab what?
The shield card. No. So while Hawkeye, again, like I said earlier in the video, he is shield when he's in alter ego form. So you can play this card here. This is one of the new cards that has come out recently, the Shield Deputy. Not deputy, deputy. Shield Deputy, it's a 0-cost upgrade. It's a title. You do have to have shield trait on your identity to play it, so you would need to be an alter ego for this. You attach this to yourself so that you get +1 hit point, but more importantly, you gain the shield trait when you are in hero. So then Bambino could be played on you while you are an either hero or alter ego, and you can attach it to yourself instead of attaching it to Mockingbird, because Mockingbird, you're probably going to be bouncing her, so it's not as beneficial there. So yeah, so that was a little trick that I thought really worked really well with him.
All right. And then this is just a classic to bump up his attack. So this is a 2-cost upgrade, combat training. Play underneath player's control, max 1 per player. Your hero gets a +1 attack. So now he's a 4 attack.
Yep. All right, then we've got Martial Prowess. So Martial Prowess is a 2-cost upgrade. It's a skill. You play it under any player's control, max 1 per player, but you can exhaust this to generate a strength resource for an attack event. And most of his arrows, I think
6 of them.
6 of the 10 are attack events.
All right, and then the last aggression card.
So this is the Shield Sidearm. So this is another one that can work with the firepower and Shield Deputy as well combination. But this is, you attach it to a shield character, limit 1 per character. So you could technically attach one of these to Hawkeye whenever you've made him shield, and to Mockingbird as well, and when she's out temporarily. It comes in with 3 ammo counters on it, and as an interrupt, whenever an attached character makes a basic attack, exhaust the shield sidearm and remove 1 ammo counter from it, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Again, I actually tend to prefer to use the firepower because you're getting 3 instead of 1. But, yeah.
Okay, so as we were talking, I thought of a couple more aggression cards I think are good for him. So one is Deathlock, because this kind of goes with the firepower strategy. So he costs 3.
And when he comes into play, he does that.
Yeah, he gets shields sidearm. But yeah, so it's +2, 2 thwart with 2 consequential, 1 attack, 3 hit points, sideboard shield. After Deathlock enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a copy of shield sidearm and attach it to him. So yeah, so you can get the help with the firepower for a 3rd shield.
Yep.
And when we talked about Explosive Arrow, it's a card that's really good for Hawkeye.
Yeah, I guess we don't typically put this in a lot of our aggression builds because we kind of consider this just a standard one that to put in most. But with him, it's especially good because he can do AoE attacks. Yeah. Anybody who can do AoE attacks by default, this is a good card with him. So I think Hawkeye was one of the first that we saw that did. Thor did. Thor, yeah. Thor and Hawkeye were the first couple that did the AoE attacks. So they were great.
So, for those who aren't familiar with this, it's a 2-cost support Asgard location. After you defeat a minion, place 1 glory counter here. And then as an alter ego action, you can exhaust Hollow Heroes, remove 3 glory counters
early, so
from it, draw 3 cards.
Yeah, because that was for Thor, so everybody might not have that.
All right, then we're going to move on to Justice. So Justice is a little interesting because it's all about stunned and confused enemies.
Yep, so the first one we got here is Chamber. So Chamber's a 4-cost ally. Thwarts for 2, attacks for 2. He is Psionic X-Men. He's got 3 hit points. But Chamber takes 1 less consequential damage after he attacks a confused enemy. So, of course, you can use one of your arrows to confuse them or some of the other cards. But, yeah, you confuse them in advance, and then Chamber can take less damage.
Or this is the way to confuse him.
Cypher as well. Yeah.
2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 hit points. He's X-Force. After Cypher attacks and damages a confused enemy, draw a card.
Then we've also got Spider Woman. She's a 3-cost ally. She thwarts for 1, attacks for 2 with 2 consequential. She is a Web Warrior shield with 3 hit points. You reduce the cost to play her by 1 for each confused enemy in play. So this is another way you take advantage of the confused is you confuse them, then you play her, and then you can attack and deal additional damage and get rid of them.
All right, then we got Scare Tactic, so 1 cost event. Hero action attack, deal 3 damage to a confused enemy.
Yep.
And the flavor text is boo.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, you're right. It is. It didn't even click. All right, then we've got Upside the Head. So this is a 1 cost event. This is a skill. It's a hero response. After your hero makes a basic attack and damages an enemy, you confuse that enemy. If they're already confused, you stun them instead. This is actually a really cool one with Hawkeye because then you can, if they're already confused, you stun them instead. So then you can use either set of arrows on them. It gives you more options.
And this is another option for confused enemies. 2 cost upgrade, float like a butterfly. Play on any player's control, max 1 per player. When a character you control attacks a confused enemy, increase the amount of damage that attack dealt to by 1. All right. And then this is for like the cable arrow or obviously playing justice. So it's two cost sense of justice, play on any player's control, max 1 per player. Resource, exhaust sense of justice, generate a mental resource for a thwart event, which would cable arrow would qualify.
All right, and then we've got the Sonic Rifle here. So this is a 3 cost upgrade. It's a tech weapon. It is restricted. So if you're doing this, you got to watch out for any additional restricted cards you might add. But it comes in with 2 charge counters. You can exhaust it, remove a charge counter from it to confuse an enemy. And if that enemy is already confused, you can deal 3 damage to him instead.
All right. Then we got Kalu. So we're in the leadership now. 2 cost ally. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 hit points. Avenger Mystic. After Kalu enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event. Add that event to your hand. Shuffle your deck. So this is another good way to get an arrow in addition to the quiver. So
yeah, because is it 10 of his 15 cards? Yeah, 10 of his 15 cards are events. So then you've got Mirage. Mirage is a 3 cost ally. She thwarts for 2, attacks for 1. She is a psionic X-Men. She has 2 hit points. She also has a bow. But after she enters play, you can choose an enemy whose scheme is less than her thwart and stun that enemy. So, they do have to have a scheme or a scheme of 1, or you have to increase hers in some way as she comes into play. You can't do it after she's in play. Then you can actually stun an enemy, so then you can take advantage of that.
So does that mean Mirage and Yondu could fire some of Hawkeye's arrows?
You wish. Oh man, that'd be scary if Yondu had control of those arrows.
Yeah. All right. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a 3 cost support. It's a team card. Play under any player's control, max 1 team card per player. If each of your characters has the shield trait, this card gains interrupt. When you resolve an encounter card, exhaust this card, cancel the effect of that card, and discard it, then reveal another card. So you would need Shield Deputy.
You would have to do that little trick for this card to work. You could still play the card. It doesn't have a requirement there, but you could not use it until after you had done that.
And Mockingbird's a shield, and there's some other shield cards coming up.
Yep. All right, then we've got Clarity of Purpose. So now this is a great one for any leadership character, but Hawkeye, because he's got so many arrows or whatever, it's always nice to be able to play the extra arrows when you can. You attach this to a friendly character, max 1 per character. It's a 1 cost upgrade. It's condition. You can exhaust it and deal 1 damage to the attached character to generate a wild resource.
All right, then we got Brother Voodoo. So we're in protection now. 3 costs, 2 thwart, 2 consequential, 1 attack, 1 consequential, 3 hit points. Avenger Mystic. After Brother Voodoo enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an event card and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. So this is if you're playing protection, you do this. You use Brother Voodoo instead of Glue.
Yep,
same thing.
All right, then we've got Iceman. So Iceman is a 3 cost ally, thwarts for 1, attacks for 2. He's got 3 hit points. He is an X-Men, but as a response, after a minion enters play, you can remove a freeze counter from Iceman to stun that minion, and he does come in with 3 ice counters on him, or freeze counters.
Right, and then your arrows that attack a stun enemy would do 5 damage instead of 3.
Yep.
Then I got Iron Fist. He costs 4. 1 thwart to attack, 3 hit points. He's a defender. Iron Fist comes into play with 2 mystic counters on him. When Iron Fist attacks an enemy, remove 1 mystic counter from him, stun that enemy, and deal 1 damage to it. So again, stunning for your arrows.
We've got Siren. Siren here is a 4-cost ally, thwarts for 2, attacks for 2. She's got 3 hit points. She is aerial X-Force, but after she attacks, you can stun a minion, and it does not have to be the minion she attacked.
All right. Then we got, I don't think that's going to help. No,
Nope.
got to do with this card. Come on. All right. Then we got Spider-Man Miles. 4 cost, 1 thwart to attack, 3 hit points. He's a web warrior. But after you play Spider-Man from your hand, stun and confuse an enemy. And if you control at least 3 web warrior cards. So this one you'd have to do a little bit of building around. You'd have to be more web warrior. So it's a little unique for Hawkeye, but if you really want to stun and confuse, if you're going for that,
yeah, there's another way to do that.
That's another way to do it.
All right, then we've got Tackle here. So this is a 3-cost attack event. You stun an enemy, and if you paid for this card using a strength resource, you deal 3 damage to that enemy in addition.
Then you got Stun Gun. So this is a 2-cost upgrade, restricted, exhaust Stun Gun, and remove 1 or 2 chargers from it. And if you removed 1, you can stun a minion. If you remove 2, you can stun the villain.
Yep.
It's a reliable way to stun.
Then moving on to Pool here, we've got Cut Upper. So this is a 3-cost event. You deal 5 damage to an enemy and stun that enemy. Max 1 per deck.
All right. Then we got Mulligan. It's a 3-cost event. You cannot play this card if you had played another card this phase. And as an action, you could discard your hand and draw a new hand. Draw up to your hand size. So yeah, so if you get, you're trying to get your arrows as often as you can. And so, yeah, sometimes you're just going to have a bum hand. And so this is a good card for him.
Another way this works is if you get this early, you can use this to help get to your quiver quicker as well.
Yeah.
So I've actually done that since, I've got extra arrows, but no quiver to put them in. So I'll use 1 arrow for my attack, and then I will discard you can discard the others with the mulligan and get to the quiver quicker.
No, you cannot if you played another card. You can't.
That's right. Yeah, you play the arrow afterwards. That's right. I forgot about that.
Stick-to-itiveness, 2-cost upgrade, spend a strength resource and exhaust this card to ready your hero. So you already get 2 activations with your bow because you exhaust the hero to ready the bow. But so this is a way, if you can ready yourself multiple times, you might be able to fire multiple arrows, especially when you got your quiver filled up with arrows, which is part of a nice strategy.
Yeah, even if you've run out of arrows, you're still at a 3 attack if you've got the bow out.
Yeah. So yeah, you got a 3 attack. All right, then we're going to basic.
All right, so Nick Fury. So this one's similar to the mulligan. It's just a way to get additional card draw to help mill for arrows or your quiver or whatever you need. But Nick's 4-cost ally. He is a 2 thwart, 2 attack, a shield spy with 3 hit points. But after you play him, you can choose to either remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. And then at the end of the round, if he's still in play, you discard.
All right. Nick Fury Sr., similar to Nick Fury. 4-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points. You only get to draw 2 cards with him. But, I mean, you could use him to help remove threat because Hawkeye is not a very thwart savvy hero. I mean, he's more attacking. But he lets his allies do the thwarting for him. So you could remove 3 threat from a scheme with Nick Fury Sr. when he comes out, and then you could turn around and thwart for 2, or drawing 2 cards to try to get more arrows. Or you can ready a shield. So after you made him no,
give him a tough status card.
Oh, it's a tough.
Yep.
This wasn't the right.
But you're still a little squishy, so that's not bad if you've already made him shield.
Yeah.
And then again, you discard him at the end of the round.
And then we got Sky Destroyer here.
So Sky Destroyer, thought this one would be a great idea here because of the fact that Mockingbird happens to be shield, and we've got Dave will show you here in a minute a way that you can actually play her pretty much every turn. But so Sky Destroyer is a 3-cost support. It's a shield vehicle. But as a response, after you play a shield card, you can exhaust this to deal 2 damage to an enemy.
Then when we're talking about the stick to ness and this next card, being able to do the multiple activations. We have Adrenaline Rush here. It's a 1 cost upgrade. You get a discard Adrenaline Rush. You get +1 to your attack until the end of the phase. So if you can ready multiple times, then that bonus to the attack applies. And this is another card that can help with that.
Yeah, Tenacity, similar thing. It's a 2 cost upgrade. You can spend a strength resource and discard it to ready your hero.
Okay, now one of my favorite things, and I didn't even think about the Sky Destroyer, kind of helps with this, I guess.
Yep.
Is Mockingbird Recursion. So there's actually several options to do this, but the classic way that I always did it was I had the Avenger Tower here, which is a 2 cost support.
So this does require a little setup.
Yeah, but if each of your allies has the Avenger trait, which she is an Avenger, you can exhaust the Avenger Tower, reduce the cost of the next Avenger ally played this turn by 1. So
actually, the only requirement for the Avenger trait is to reduce the ally limit by 1.
Yeah,
the second part works regardless.
Yeah. The second card in that trick is...
So it's the Quinn Carrier here. So the Quinn Carrier is a 3 cost Avenger vehicle support. You do have to be an Avenger to play it, but you can exhaust it to generate a wild resource.
Okay, and then the third card in this trick is Team Building Exercise. Exhaust Team Building Exercise, play a card from your hand that shares a trait with your hero, reducing the resource cost by 1. So with these 3 cards stay out. So once these 3 cards are in play, you have Mockingbird coming. You can have Mockingbird coming out every single turn.
And her ability puts her right back in your hand to prevent all damage.
Right. So you do have to spend 1 resource of any type. So there is a couple other ways that you can get around that. So Helicarrier would actually help with the paying for her, which is exhaust a Helicarrier, choose a player, reduce the resource cost the next card is played by 1. So you've got the Helicarrier, you've got the so if you do the Helicarrier, the Team Building, and the Avenger Tower, you could pay for it, and then you could use the Quinn Carrier to put her back in your hand.
Yes.
And then
you would have to use the Helicarrier instead of you would have to save the Quinn Carrier would be the one to save.
Right.
Because it actually generates the resource. The Helicarrier reduces the cost, so it doesn't help.
Yeah, all 3 of these cards, all 3 of these are reducers.
Yes. So speaking of reducers.
And then another option is Government Liaison.
So the Government Liaison is you can exhaust Government Liaison to play a shield card from your hand, reducing the resource cost by 1. So this is basically a different way to do the team building for Mockingbird because she is shield. So you can do that as well. So
or in addition, or instead.
Instead of. So yeah, you cannot combine them. But that way, if you use the team building for something else, then you can use the Government Liaison to play for her, or the other way, if you use the Government Liaison for something else like the Shield or the Sky Destroyer, then you can use team building for her.
Yeah, but this is something that I really like because Mockingbird is very important on the deck because for his deck because you take no damage when the villain attacks. So you put these back in, especially with the extra card, the Quinn Carrier, to so you're not even spending a resource. Then during the hero phase, yeah, you spin this, you put Mockingbird out, you still have your full hand to play arrows and stuff, or building up your kit.
Absolutely necessary, you get attacked the second time, you can block. But this is really nice because a lot of times you can keep Hawkeye up for a very long time doing this little trick. It does take a little bit of setup, but once it's out, it's very effective.
Yeah. So this was a card I was recurring while Dirk was just only thinking of Maria, I guess, for recurring.
Hey, I was putting all of these cards in your hand in one turn, so you could do it. How's that?
That would help, yeah. Except for I need help to pay for them, though. That's the problem.
Well, that's why I put like 11 cards in your hand. I'll pay for them, maybe?
Maybe.
All
right. Well, anyways, yeah, so that was Hawkeye. It's been a long time. Well, actually, I played Hawkeye at Con of Heroes. So we at Con of Heroes, they had kind of like a little.
Yeah, I don't remember you doing this trick at Con of Heroes.
Yeah, well, I
think you were going for something else.
No, I was, but the game was over, I think, before I got it set up.
Okay.
It's a pretty spendy to get set up.
Yeah, it does take a little while.
It might take a deck pass or 2 to get you set up. But once you're set up, because you're pretty squishy at 9 health,
9 health and one defense.
Yeah, one, yeah. So that it is kind of a little on the rough side, but yeah. So, but at Con of Heroes we had kind of a bingo, and so it was if you play with someone and someone was like going, oh, we need someone to play Hawkeye. It's like, sure, I'll play Hawkeye. So we got so I built a Hawkeye deck real quick, and when we did the that was like one of the nights at the hotel.
And that's why I didn't remember seeing it because you never got it set up. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I got it set up. I mean, I built it, but I don't think it does take a little while to get set up. But anyways, that was our Hawkeye review. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.
And if you want to see more content by us, go ahead and hit that notification bell down there, and you'll get alerts whenever we post new videos. All right. Have a good one.